Dear friends, welcome to Comart. This is the second video of our Comart GST learning series. In our Comart GST learning series 1, we have discussed the introductory concepts of goods and service tax. If you didn't watch that video, I request you to go through the same. The link for the first video is available in the I button and the description box as well. In this video, we are planning to cover the topics such as history of GST in India, dual model of GST, CGST Act, SGST Act, and IGST Act, GSTN, GST Council, and GST rates. First of all, let's go through the history of GST in India. In India, the procedure for the enactment of goods and service tax had been started during the mid 1990s. It was first proposed by Dr. Manmohan Singh. A further step in the history of GST in India was taken place in the year 2005 in the form of the recommendations by Kelkar Task Force. After 4 years, that is in 2009, Empowered Committee on the State Finance Ministers released its first discussion paper on GST. During the month of March 2011, 115th Constitutional Amendment Bill was introduced in Lok Sabha to enable the levy of GST. Unfortunately, due to lack of political consensus, the bill was lapsed. Again, in 2014 December, one more constitutional amendment bill, that is 122nd Amendment Bill regarding GST was introduced in Lok Sabha. In 2015 May, the 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill, which was introduced in 2014, was passed by both the Houses of Parliament and then referred to the Select Committee. The Select Committee submitted its report on 22nd July 2015. In 2017, various state legislatures passed respective state GST bills. Finally, in 2017 July 1 onwards, GST was launched all over India. Next, we can examine the model of GST following in India. In India, we are following a dual model of GST. At the first level, we have a central GST, that is, the GST levied by the central government. At the next level, we have a state GST, that is, the GST levied by the respective state government. That means our GST model is a dual GST model. In the sense, GST levied by both the central and state governments. Next, we can see various laws relating to GST in India, namely CGST Act, SGST Act, and IGST Act. So the first one is Central Goods and Service Tax Act, that is CGST Act. CGST Act was passed by the Parliament on 12th April 2017. The Act has been passed to empower the central government to levy and collect tax on supply of goods or services within a state. It confers powers to Government of India to collect tax on intrastate supply of goods and services or both. Before the introduction of GST, sale within a state was a state subject on which the state government alone were entitled to levy tax. CGST is a revenue source to the central government of India on intrastate supplies of taxable goods or services or both. The second act is State Goods and Service Tax Act, that is SGST Act. SGST is a tax levied on intrastate supplies of both goods and services by the state government. CGST will also be levied on the same intrastate supply. SGST levied and collected by state governments on intrastate supplies of taxable goods or services or both. SGST is a revenue source of the respective state government. The third act is Integrated Goods and Service Tax Act, that is IGST Act. IGST is a mechanism to monitor the interstate trade of goods and services and to ensure that the SGST component accrues to the consumer state. The IGST rate would broadly be equal to CGST rate plus SGST rate. IGST is a tax levied and collected by the central government on all interstate transactions of taxable goods or services. IGST will be applicable on any supply of goods and services or both in cases of import into India and export from India. In short, under IGST, the export would be zero rated and tax will be shared between the central and state governments. Now we can examine how IGST or CGST or SGST works. If the location of the supplier and the place of the supply is in the same state, it is a case of intrastate transaction. So the tax applicable is CGST plus SGST. If the location of the supplier and the place of the supply is in different state, it is a case of interstate transaction. So in such a situation, the tax applicable is IGST. The next topic is Goods and Service Tax Network, that is GSTN. GSTN is a non-government private limited company. It is the technology backbone for GST in India. GST being a destination-based tax, the interstate trade of goods and services would need a robust settlement mechanism amongst the states and the center. This is possible only when there is a strong IT infrastructure and a service backbone which enable capture, processing, and exchange of information amongst the stakeholders. As a result, GSTN has been set up. GSTN will soon become a 100% government-owned company. GSTN has the following functions. First of all, filing of registration application. The second one is filing of return. The third one is creation of challan for tax payment. The fourth one is settlement of IGST payment. And finally, generation of business intelligence and analytics. Now we can discuss GST Council. GST Council is a mechanism for ensuring harmonization on different aspects of GST between the center and the state as well as among the states. The President of India constituted the GST Council on 15th September 2016. The GST Council shall consist of Union Finance Minister as a chairperson, Union Minister of State in charge of finance as a member, the State Finance Minister or State Revenue Minister or any other minister nominated by each state as a member of the council. The GST Council shall select one of them as the vice chairperson of the council. Now we can see the functions of GST Council. GST Council has to make recommendations to the central government and the state government on tax rates, exemptions, threshold limits, dispute resolution, and GST legislations including rules and notification. The final topic is rates of GST. Under GST, tax is charged at different slabs of rates. The first slab is exempted slab. It includes farm products, eggs, honey, puja articles, hearing aids, slate pencils, etc. The second rate is taxable at the rate of 0.25%. It includes diamonds, precious stones other than diamonds, and semi-precious stones, synthetic or reconstructed precious or semi-precious stones, etc. The next slab is taxable at the rate of 3%. Base metals, gold, silver, articles of jewelry, imitation jewelry, coin, waste and scrap of precious metals, etc. The next one is taxable at the rate of 5%. It includes fish frozen or dried, flours, meals and pellets of fish, ultra high temperature, milk and cream, concentrated vegetables, frozen grapes, raisins, nuts, spices, branded rice, etc. The next slab is GST taxable at the rate of 18%. Majority of the supplies are taxable at the rate of 18%. The next one is taxable at the rate of 28%. Paints, varnishes, pan masala, non-alcoholic beverages, unmanufactured tobacco, etc. are included in this slab. Now the next one is tax deducted at source, that is TDS of 1%. Government departments, local authorities and government agencies who are recipients of supply have to deduct tax at the rate of 1% from the payment made or credited to the supplier where total value of supply under a contract exceeds 2,50,000 rupees. The next rate of GST is tax collected at source, 2%. Electronic commerce operators have to collect tax at source at the rate of 2% of net value of taxable supplies when they make payments to suppliers supplying goods or services through their portals. The final rate of tax is composite tax at 1%. Small-scale business firms having turnover up to 1.5 crore can opt for composition scheme. With effect from 15/11/2017, composite tax rate is 1% for all categories of composite taxpayers. However, the composition rate for hotel shall be 5%. Those who opt for composition scheme have to pay tax at the prescribed rate based on total turnover. Composite taxpayers are not allowed to collect tax from customers. The tax so paid is equally shared between the center and the state governments. Thank you.